Alright, how's it going? Today I'm going to be showing my garage on Midnight Club Los Angeles. Try and ignore the fan noise in the background like always. It's just going to kind of be there because, yeah, it always is. So we're starting off Brian's Eclipse from the first Fast and the Furious movie. One of my favorite cars. And, off and on I've spent 13 years of my life making this car in different variations. And I plan on making a more thorough tutorial at some point. I've already made one, but I'd like to make one that's a little more in-depth. Gives a little more, of the dimensions and stuff like that. I'd like to do that for more cars in Midnight Club, period. Very nice, very nice. Now let's move on to the next car, which I believe this is Han's RX-7. Should be. It is Han's RX-7 from Tokyo Drift, a third Fast and the Furious movie. It's most people's favorite car in the franchise. Unfortunately, you cannot put the Vilside body kit on in this game, so you've got to kind of get creative and kind of make do with what you've got. Unfortunately, see, like you've got to create those little headlights like that, but it is what it is. It looks good enough if you can do the vinyls and decals to your liking and accuracy to the film. It is what it is, like I said. It would be nice to get the body kit, but it's not too shabby looking. Han's always been one of my favorite characters in these movies. So, next is Brian's R34 Skyline from Too Fast, Too Furious. Everybody's favorite car from the franchise for the most part. From this, it's top three for most people is the Supra, the Skyline, and Han's RX-7. Those are usually the top three. And I'll just say right now, this whole garage is basically all Fast and the Furious. I think I have maybe one or two that is not, so better get excited and ready to watch more Fast and Furious cars, because that's basically all this is. I'm also probably going to make a tutorial for this car at some point. Alright, so now we've got the two Evos from Too Fast and Tokyo Drift back to back here. So this first one is Brian's from Too Fast. Kind of an underrated car in the franchise, in my opinion. It's also kind of hard to follow up on the Skyline, so any car that would have been following it in the Too Fast would have probably struggled to get the love that Brian's R34 got. But I still think that this is a very nice Kia in the grand scheme of things. Alright. Now this one is Sean Boswell's from Tokyo Drift. The one that he is gifted from Han after he destroys his Sylvia. So destroy one car and you're gifted another, I guess. It's another car that I just absolutely love. It took me forever to finally get this car pretty close, I'd say. And I struggled with getting the paint right and all that, but now it seems it's probably the best I've ever had it looking. I wish they made more miniatures and die cast of this. Unfortunately, there's not very many of these available. I'm guessing it's probably a rights issue. I'm not too sure, but whatever the reason, it just sucks that we don't get more toys of that. Next up is the Chevelle from Fast 4. There's not much to this car. I still like it though. I like that it's got some originality to it. Dom spray paints it himself. And Fast 4, the last movie in the franchise that feels like a Fast and Furious movie. It's the last one in the franchise that has racing of any kind, really. You know, you've got a couple races in other movies after that, but it's just not the same. I believe this is Brian's Skyline from Fast 4. I've seen some people say they like this more than his R34 from Too Fast. I wouldn't go that far, but I do really like this car. And in my opinion, Fast 4, it's pretty slept on. If you watch franchise rankings, it's usually towards the bottom, which, I mean, hey, to each his own, but Fast 4 has always been one of my favorites. Probably helps it was the first one I saw in theaters. So this is Dom's RX-7, which it took me years to finally tackle this. It's still not great. I could do a better job in my opinion, but I think I've done a pretty good job considering this is my first real stab at it. I always just kind of ignored this car because I just figured I didn't have the skill or capabilities to do it. I think I did a pretty decent job. And I'm pretty hard on myself, so to give myself credit of any kind is impossible. I've always loved this car, though. This is the first car we see Dom in, and Dom's just a badass in the first movie. I just think this car looks awesome. Especially that front right there. Looks sick. I think this is the Sylvia from Tokyo Drift, I think. Could be wrong. I think it is, though. It is. The Mona Lisa. Which is, it looks easy to make, and it just took me a long time to remake this. It's a shame that there's no Sylvia in this game, but you gotta make do with the 240SX. Looks good enough. GT wing, rays on the hood. I had a huge obsession with this car when I was a kid. Tokyo Drift, I rewatched it on loop, but this was the car that stood out to me for some reason when I was a kid. I used to have the RC car of this, and then another car they don't make enough die-casts and toys of. Damn shame. This and the Evo, they'd be on my shelf, that's for sure, but I'll just have to wait. Don't mess up Mona, alright? Alright. Alright, what's next? I'll stop quoting Tokyo Drift. This might be the General Lee. It is. So this is one of my cars that is not from Fast and Furious. The General Lee from Dukes of Hazzard. One of my favorite cars of all time. I gotta fix that line up there. It's bothering me. I see it and it's out of place and it's bugging me. I love the General Lee though. It's definition of American muscle, definition of iconic cars from a better time. I love me some Dukes of Hazzard. Yeehaw! What's next? What is next, mate? Sean's Mustang from Tokyo Drift. The one that he gets from his dad. I like it. You know, it's for what it is, I like it. It's not a special car by any means, but I think it's a nice way to finish the movie off, putting the Sylvia engine in here, and I took me years to realize the car was green. DVD quality wasn't great back then, so you couldn't really tell. And then I finally, you know, you got toys and die-casts of it and realized, oh, it's green, not black. I believe this is Morimoto's 350Z from Tokyo Drift. I could definitely do better on this side vinyl. I'll be the first to admit it. But I kind of just wanted to get it over and out of the way with, so I could say I had Morimoto's 350Z, because DK's is even harder than this. I've always liked this car. Unfortunately, they don't have any 350Zs in here that aren't convertibles, so you just have to kind of suck it up. Let's see what this... okay, I think I know what this one is. Another car that I just pushed off until I recently got back into Midnight Club, I'd say like 6-7 months ago, and I went on a tear of making cars that I felt like I needed in my collection, and this was one of them. Leon Skyline, which I need to get one of these for my shelf as well. I like this car quite a bit. I don't love yellow on cars, especially yellow with a yellow underglow. This just makes it work. Forget the guy who designed these cars for the first movie, but he did a damn good job picking colors and decals that you'd never really assume would work for the car at hand, like the Skyline and Supra in particular. It looks great. I think I did a decent job on this one too. It's a shame there's no R33. You just gotta kind of put up with having an R34 in this, but whatever. It's kind of the theme of Midnight Club, using cars that aren't the original car. Like in this case, this is Brian's Supra. There's no Supra, so I had to use the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. It's the closest looking car that you'll find in this game to a Supra. And this is another car that took me a long-ass time to make. I'm happy with how this turned out. It's probably one of my favorite ones that I have, to be honest. And this is probably my favorite car in the entire franchise. It'd be either this or the the Skyline or the Eclipse. Those three. Those are my three cars that come to mind. And I kind of love the blue interior too. The fact that it's just so all over the place color-wise. It just screams 2000. And the blue underglow, which they don't show in the movie, but they sold all of those toys with the blue underglow, so I just threw it on. Now we've got the Jetta from the first Fast and the Furious. Jesse's dad's Jetta, which I'd love to see what his dad's reaction was when he got out of jail. So it's got the same hood as Brian's Eclipse MI, which is, I forget the company name. I'm going to get screamed at in the comments. I think it's Modern Image. That's it, Modern Image. And this is one of my favorite side decals that I've done as well. I had no idea how to do this, and it took me a long-ass time. But I figured it out. I think I did a pretty good job. The hood was pretty self-explanatory. I mean, if you make Brian's Eclipse, you know how to do that. But this side vinyl just seemed like I didn't even know where to start. And that's the case with a lot of these. Alright, now we've got Roman's Eclipse from Too Fast, Too Furious. I did this tutorial not that long ago. And I've had people asking me to do a longer tutorial, which, patience, people, it will come in time. Another car, though, I find completely underrated. It's like the cool thing to hate on this. You watch any worst Fast and Furious lists, and this is right at the top, and I'm just tired of people pretending this is a terrible car. It's not great. There's a lot of things wrong with it. I gotta refix that interior and make it gray again. I still love it, though. The 69 Camaro, so this is the Yanko, I believe. This might be Dwight's, though. It's one or the other. Yeah, so it's the Yanko. From Too Fast, Too Furious. I always preferred this over the Challenger. I like the Challenger still, don't get me wrong, but the Yanko is just a little cooler for me. Iconic Fast and Furious scene when they jump into the yacht. Pulling some real Dukes of Hazzard shit here, bruh. I think I have them both back to back, funny enough. I do. So this is the Ejectocito Cuz Challenger from Too Fast, Too Furious. Definitely a beauty. Not much to show, though. I think this is Letty's, if I'm correct. This is Letty's 240SX from the first Fast and Furious. Another car. Add this to the list of cars I'm talking about that they don't have enough toys of. I'd love to have a 1/18th scale of this. Another side decal I didn't really know where to begin with. It turned out okay, I think. But I had no idea where to start with this one. You just have to fiddle with it until you start making way, and then, oh, okay, you get the outline, and then, oh, okay, now I see where it's all starting to come together. But again, they knocked it out of the park with the decals in this car. And I just like 240SX. I think they look nice. That DT on the hood, like with Dom's car. Another 3000 GT. This is Slapjack Supra from Too Fast, Too Furious. Love this car. They just repurposed the Supras from the first movie that they had left over, and they put new body kits on, and they repainted it, and we got this bad boy, which is in Grandma's Boy. If anybody's seen Grandma's Boy, this car is in the background a couple shots, which is just hilarious to me. Sort of like how the Eclipse from the first Fast and Furious is in Sex Drive. I don't know what it is with mid-2000s comedies using Fast and Furious cars, but I will not complain. I'm sure it was just kicking around on the Universal back lot, and they're like, hey, can we use this for Grandma's Boy? Sure, man. So now we've got Dwight's Camaro from Fast 4. This would have been part of Braga's crew, but Brian busted him because he had to get his way in there. Definitely wish this got more screen time. I believe it's a 1 of 1 in real life. It's an actual car. It's like a real actual... So I find that kind of neat when they do that. Now we've got Neela's RX-8 from Tokyo Drift. Not one of my favorite cars, and not one of my favorites to make. This front part I still have it not correct at all, and I don't know how to do it properly. It's pissing me off, and it's just never been one of my favorite cars. RX-8s are not one of my favorite. It's always stuck in my head. My dad test drove one of these a long time ago, and he said it just handled horribly, and it just kind of stuck with me. It's basically like a shittier RX-7 in every way, so it looks nice though, but to me it's like it's a woman's car, or Cyclops' car from X-Men 2. Overall, just kind of a forgettable car though, and I think it's only in 2 or 3 scenes in Tokyo Drift anyway, so it doesn't have much to do with the franchise. Now we've got Orange Julius's RX-7. This took me forever. Like, this side vinyl looks simple, but there's a lot more to it than you'd think. And unfortunately, I couldn't add all of the numbers and stuff to the side because there's a limit to things, the decals you can use in this game, which is annoying. I think it's 64. So you can't really put that many decals on each side of your car. But overall, I think I did a pretty good job making it look enough like Orange Julius's that you kind of get the gist of what I'm going for here. I just think of him pulling up to the bridge. Oh, hell no! Refuses to jump. We've got Letty's Challenger from Furious 7. This is the car that she was using when they pull up on the truck to save Ramsey. This is kind of what the cars turned into as the movies went on. There's like really no soul to them. It looks like it comes from the factory, which I like the look of this, don't get me wrong, but it just looks like a factory Challenger with a very base side vinyl, base level side vinyl, and you know, I don't know, there's just not much to it where it stands out. I still like it though. For the newer 3 or 4 movies, it's probably one of the better cars. We've got Brian's Impreza from Fast 4, but really I have to use a Golf because there is no Impreza. I used to hate this car when I was a kid. I guess I was expecting him to get another Skyline or something at the end of the movie, and then he gets this thing. I just kind of was annoyed. I like this thing a lot more now as I get older, though. It fits what they were going for at the end of the movie, the off-roading, and I like it. And the decals are nice. You know, it's a little more creative than what we've gotten in the last 5 or 6 movies. This actually took me some effort. Got another Challenger here. I don't know which one this is. It might be the Cuda from Furious 7. Yeah, it is. So this is Dom's Cuda that Letty just kind of takes over as the movie goes on. I've never loved this movie or this car either in the movie. It's alright. I like the Cuda. It's just not one of my favorite cars. It's basically just a Plymouth Challenger, which is alright. And another car that's just not really in the movie all that much. It just kind of shows up and then does a couple things and then that's it. How many do we have left? 4? Okay. So we're whittling our way down the last couple here. Thanks for sticking with me if you're still watching. Oh, that's right. I forgot I even had this Vince's Maxima from the first Fast and Furious. I like this car. I don't like the car itself, but the design that he has on it, again, they knocked it out of the park. It fits Vince's character well. When he peels out and does his front wheel burn, I love that scene. And I kind of like that they have all these different animals on the side of the... You've got like an eagle on Brian's, you've got a shark here on the side of the Vince's. It's very different, very interesting. There's no wing on this car, which I kind of like as well. The rims were cool. It's a bit of an underrated car. I've said that a few times, but it's true. And here comes another car that it's not enough for the movie to be loved or anything, but I wish there was a bigger die-cast of this. I know there's still variants of this kicking around out there. This is Ja Rule's. Why can't I think of what it's called? It's Integra from the first movie. I had to use this Cobalt SS because there is no Integra. It's a cool side vinyl though. And I overall like the red and yellow. Kind of makes it pop with the white rims, and I don't hear anybody really mention this too much when they talk about the first Fast and Furious. Again, it's only in a couple scenes. It's really only in that race scene at the beginning, and that's it. And Ja Rule vanishes from the face of the film. So I believe we're on the last 2 now. We've got another Chevelle, which is Starsky and Hutch's Gran Torino, which, yeah, I had to use a Chevelle because there is no Gran Torino. So this is one of 2 cars that I have that is not. It's a TV car, just like the General Lee, but it's not a Fast and Furious car. I do like this. It's a very simple design. We've all seen this car a million times. I wish I could put a police light on top of it, but you can't. And the last car is from Fast 5. This is the 350Z that a couple of the characters are using. It's mostly Giselle when they're doing their time trial trying to get by the cameras. I'm not crazy about this car, but I had to make it to put it in my Fast 5 video. It's nothing special. It's a very simple looking 350Z. I almost call it an RX-7. So that is that. Thank you for watching. I will make some more Midnight Club content in the upcoming days, months, and weeks coming up here. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.